Gabriel, I met Gabriel last week in the Big Booster, an international accelerator. We were both mentors in that program. And during my connections with the speaker for this challenge, I connected with Gabriel. Actually, he connected with me on LinkedIn. I said, Gabriel, I was just messaging the speakers. Would you love to be a speaker? He said yes, and now we have Gabriel with us. Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, how are you today?
Bomba. Great, great. Gabriel, I would like you to introduce yourself. I'll give you all the screen and start with your topic.
Okay, so I can share my screen. Let's do it.
Yes, you can.
Screen 2, let's do it. Here we go. Moving from this screen. Yes, I have to capture the little. So technical challenge. Yes, here we go. Here we go. Yep. Okay, so guys, I'm really glad to be here today with you. I don't know how many people are currently listening, but to be clear and brief, I have behind me a long career in sales and marketing in the high-tech industry. And today I'm a consultant, I'm a trainer, and I'm a teacher at the EM Lyon Business School in their executive MBA program. And I'm teaching strategic marketing and B2B complex selling. So I go on, Andre?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so let's go on. So what I want to share with you today, and how long do I have? I have 30 minutes, something like that, 25 minutes?
You have 15. You can take 20 if you want.
Okay, 15 minutes. So I'm going to be straight to the point. What I want to talk about is one of the key cornerstone of the marketing. You know marketing, I guess, pretty well. Everything starts with the market. You have to understand, to know your market. Then you articulate your value added, your offer, and then you decline and you implement everything. And there are three main domains. The first one is strategic marketing. You have to find the right way to go where you want to go. The second one is product marketing. You have to work on the brand, the offer, the pricing, and so forth. And the third one is trade and communication marketing. It's everything about inbound, outbound, trade marketing, content marketing, digital marketing, and so on, distribution, communication, and sales. So the question I would have is, where does it start? Everything starts actually by one single concept that you have to really understand. It's the need you want to address. And more than the need itself that you have to understand is the intensity of this need. And that's something that most of the entrepreneurs I'm working on are keen to forget. They jump big time in the offer. They love the offer. It's their baby. They want to make the offer the best they can. And they just sometimes forget the need, which is the start of everything. And so what I want to share with you today is a framework that will help you to measure the intensity of the need you want to address, knowing that it's quite difficult to address. The need is something immaterial, and this framework is really effective in order to get an objective view on the need and this intensity. So need, wants, demands, you know, the Maslow pyramid. So the basic needs, they are everywhere all the time, because you need to eat and to drink every single day. If you are addressing need at the bottom, at the top of the pyramid, it's more difficult. So the intensity of the need does matter for a few reasons. The first reason is that will help you to validate your destination. If the intensity of the need is low, that could be very challenging to get the traction from the market. If the intensity of the need is high, that would be better. And knowing where you want to go will help you to prepare for the trip. If you want to go at the top of the Mont Blanc, which is difficult but not that hard, you don't have to get the same preparation that if you want to go to the Everest, which requires much more equipment and training. And knowing where you want to go, avoid you to pivot. So pivoting is good. Your very well-known pivot is Starbucks. Initially, they built an espresso machine, and then the CEO visiting Europe and finding this nice concept of cafe, pivoted his company completely, but that's quite expensive to do, that's painful to do. And I see a lot of startup pivoting. It's not so obvious, and you waste money and time and traction. So if you can define precisely and make sure from day one that the need you are going to address is intense enough to sustain your business in the long term, that's better. So you have to recognize the type of needs, and you have to measure the intensity of the need. And the good news is that there is a kind of idea of perfection. The perfect needs does exist. Imagine the perfect needs is a horse. That could be this wonderful horse, black horse. And you have to compare this horse with the need you try to satisfy with your company. And it might be a little different. So the closest or the closer it will be from the horse, the better for you. So any idea what you need to consider in order to measure the need? It's quite simple. I love to simplify complex marketing concepts into a few steps, and to nail down the need intensity. Actually, there are 4 main steps to keep in mind. The first one is all about perception, and it's because the need is in the mind of your customers or future customers. What you think about it doesn't matter. What you have to capture, what you have to understand, what you have to frame is how important this need is in the mind of your customers. And the first dimension is the first question to be answered is this need conscious? If the need is conscious, that's good news. If the need is not conscious, you will have to educate the market, and your time to market will be longer. That will be a difficult journey. So the first and foremost important topic is the need conscious. Just to take an example, a few years ago, people were not really conscious that having a mobile phone could be useful. I had my first mobile phone in the 87, so it's a long time ago. And when I share with people that I had a mobile phone, they say, why do you need a mobile phone? It was totally unconscious. Today, that's clear. Every generation, from the grandkid to the grandfather, they need and they have a clear conscious that having mobile communication is paramount. And for business, that's clearly something that you cannot live without. The second key criteria is this need is to be critical. If you want the need to be intense, if you want the need to be ideal, not only has to be conscious, but it has to be critical. What does that mean? That means that, let's take a quick example. If you try to sell a bottle of water, mineral water, in a city in the middle of winter, that's going to be difficult. You might be able to do it, but that's going to be much more difficult than if you try during summertime with a temperature of 40 degrees. People, you're pretty sure that somebody will have forgotten his bottle of water. It will be even easier if you talk with somebody who has been walking and crossing the desert for a few days, and that is dying. So you may be able to sell your bottle of water a high price. So this criticity could be real. This criticity could be totally fake and created by distribution in a supermarket. You know, Black Friday, it's nothing else than making the criticity virtually high to increase the intensity of the need. But there is no real need at the beginning. So conscious and critical. A second dimension, apart from the perception from the customer, is the impact of the regulation. If your need, the need you want to address, is mandatory by the law, you're in a very good situation. That's a very good need to be able, that's a very good need to have. And if we take one or two examples just to illustrate, car insurance, as long as you as soon as you have a car, you need a car insurance, at least in France. So being an insurance company, that's a great job to have. You know that the market is going to be big and large, and that the customer, they have to buy your product. To take another example, a few years ago, we didn't need a smoke detector in apartments and houses. Back, it might be 3-4 years ago in France. That's today completely mandatory. You're not insured in case of fire in your house if you don't have those fire detectors. So the mandatory is the third parameter criteria of the ideal need. So next step is very interesting, and you have to think big time about it. It's the intensity of the competition, because you are going to fight against the competition. So the first consideration is the competition is broken. What does that mean? That means that the competition is not that good. The product is too expensive, not working very well. The support is not good. So if the competition is broken, the intensity of the need for a better solution is going to the roof. Second situation, the competition has neglected the need. You know, the blue ocean industry, the blue ocean strategy and concept. So the competition may have neglected the need for two reasons. The first one, which is the best one, they didn't see the need. And that's a good news. You might be the first one to see the need and the first one to be able to address this need. Very good for you. Second reason might be they've seen the need, but they consider the need is not very interesting for them. Might be not the right market. The people cannot afford their solution. They consider that it's not a consistent market, or that the need is not going to last very long. So in this case, you can ask yourself, I might be the only one, but if you're the only one, it could be a good news, because you're going to get a big traction and make a lot of money, or it could be bad news because you are the only one being wrong. So be careful in this case. And the last criteria, it's about temporality, everything linked to the time. So what make a need ideal, strong, intense is the urgency, a sense of urgency. And again, who create urgency if there is no an urgency per se? Black Friday, it's just another way to create a sense of urgency and to trigger the purchase decision. So that's definitely something. But if there is no pain and no urgent pain, if the pain could be solved down the road in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, that's going to be hard for you to sell something. Durable, long-lasting, that is linked with the size of the market. The bigger the market, the longer the need is going to last. So having a durable, long-lasting needs is something very interesting to measure, to be sure that your business is going to be here tomorrow and after tomorrow. And the last one is the recurrent side of the need. If the need exists one day and it's over for life, that's less interesting than if there is a recurrent need. And you see more and more business changing their business model from a license to SaaS, from a purchase to usage. For example, selling houses is very interesting, but the average cycle is 18 years before finding the same customers again. If you are selling wine, good news, wine or everything that is food related or beverage related is going to be a recurrent need. And again, the manufacturers are very smart, because if there is no real recurrence, they create it by implementing the obsolescence, the program of obsolescence. They define and they design equipment so that they are broken after a few years. So summarizing everything, and it's 15 minutes chrono. Here are the 6 criteria that make a need ideal. It's conscious, it's critical, it's mandatory, it's either broken or neglected from a competitive standpoint, and it's urgent, durable, and recurrent. So what you have to do today, if you want to make sure to succeed in your company, you have to measure and to make sure that at least on those 2 key criteria, they are at least, the need is at least either critical or explicit and conscious. The best place obviously is to be critical and explicit conscious. It could be one or the other, and then you have to work upstream to make sure that you are in the best place. And a little framework for you to use after this training and this short presentation, you can put a grade, you can rank or grade your need, the need you are addressing on this little grid. You put a grade on 10 or 5, whatever you want to calculate the average. If the average is below 5, you might seriously think about doing something else. If it's above 5, above 8, it's very good situation. So you rank and you grade your need on the consciousness, the criticity, the urgency, and so forth. And this ideal need is just one piece of what you have to think about. Obviously, the ideal need and the intensity of the need comes from your ideal customer. You have to first find, define, describe your ideal customer, and then to measure his need. And next step will be to define the ideal offer to answer and fulfill this need. But that's part of a full program and steps of strategic marketing. You see the ideal need here, close to the ideal customer. There is the ideal offer close to the offer. And that are a few steps that are key to go from the idea to a frame concept in order to launch your company or your product. If you have a few questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Gabriel, thank you. That was a nice way to put everything on a spectrum or tool, let's say, to analyze the idea, the business, and to check where you can improve. I like how you included it like a wheel. We have your wheel today, and yesterday we had a wheel for grounded positivity from Christine. Today we have the wheel for assessing the idea and the business. Thank you, Gabriel, and everyone who wants to contact Gabriel, you can check him on LinkedIn. You already have his email on the slide now. And of course, check his website. Show me some thumbs up for Gabriel in the chat box. Let us see how valuable was it for you. I can see Pascal saying thank you, Nada saying great presentation, thank you, Elibu Faisal, nice examples, some thumbs ups in the chat and likes. Christine saying thank you, Gabriel. Really thank you, Gabriel. It was great.
You're very welcome. Appreciate sharing. It was very short, 15 minutes. Usually I do that in a few hours, but at least that gives you a little taste of what you have to think about in order to be successful.
Yes, and I'm sure if anyone wants to have more of what Gabriel showed us, you can contact him by email or on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. I will be glad to accept invitation on LinkedIn with a little comment. Please add a little comment because I get a lot of out of the blue and I don't like to check the background to see if it's interesting to connect or not. So refer to these little events online. Thank you.
So mention Andre, mention Entrepreneur Gene.
Absolutely.
Mention the challenge. Just let him know that you just watched him on the 5 Forward Challenge. Thank you, Gabriel.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
See you. Good. So I'll go back to the speaker view. And I want to know from you in the chat box, everyone, how valuable was it so far? By the way, before you leave, Gabriel, Nada is just wrote, I want him as my coach. You just got someone interested. So hopefully on LinkedIn you get in contact. Thank you, Gabriel.
Absolutely. I will be glad. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. So how was it so far? Write me in the chat box from 1 to 10 how valuable it was for you, everyone. So excellent. Ghada 10 over 10.